Good morning, children. Today we are going to see chapter 8 in biology, cell structure and functions. So already we have seen the introduction part of this chapter, and then today we are moving to the next topic. So first let us recall what did we discuss. We saw that the cell was the name coined by Robert Hooke in the year 1665 from the cork. He identified it from the cork. Cork is nothing but the bark of a tree. So, he first initially found that the plant, that is a tree, has cells. He termed that cell is the basic structural unit of an organ. All the living organisms are made up of cells. We can see the cell only through a microscope. We cannot see it through the naked eye. And then we saw about the cell number. An egg will be considered as one cell, that is a single celled organism. Whereas numerous cells are present in an organism means then it is multicellular organism. Then the shape of the cell can be round or spherical or elongated. Then the size of the cell, we usually measure it by the micron. Micron is nothing but micrometer, 10 power minus 6 meter. The smallest cell is the bacterial cell, which is about 0.1 to 0.5 micron only. The largest cell is the ostrich egg, which has the dimension of 170 millimeter cross 130 millimeter. Okay, I hope you would have seen the egg of an ostrich, maybe in some pictures, how large it is. So an egg is a one cell. So imagine how big the size of the cell is. And also we saw that the size of the cell has nothing to do with the size of the body. Has no relation. An elephant is big, but it doesn't mean that its body cell's size should be big. It can be even small. So size of the cell is different, size of the body is different. So today we are going to see the parts of the cell. Okay? A plant will also have cell, an animal also will have cell. So today we are going to see the plant cell. This is a plant cell. What are the various parts present inside the cell will be seen in today's class. Its functions we can discuss it later on. Okay. So first we know the meaning of cell. Cell is the basic structural unit. Basic structural unit of all the living organism. This cell will combine together as a group to form the tissue. Okay, this tissue will develop to form an organ. We have the various organs in our body: brain, lungs, heart, stomach, kidney, hand, legs. All these are organs. They are made up of cells. A single cell cannot constitute for an organ. Okay, a group of cells, that is a tissue, only forms an organ. Like this, a tissue means group of organs. They join together and develop to form an organ. Okay. So today we will see only about the plant cell and the various parts inside it. The next class we will see about animal cell and its parts. The differences between plant cell and animal cell would also be discussed. And its functions. Okay. So as we know that the size of the cell is usually measured in micron. It has to be viewed through the microscope. Yes or no, children? It is very small, so we have to see through a microscope. How the plant cells will be visible inside the microscope means you will have a slide like this, okay? And the sample piece, you will just put a drop of the sample in the center of the slide, and you would add some dyes or the staining agents, like your color. Staining agents means color, and then you will keep this slide in the microscope to see the cell. Example, an onion you can take, or any vegetable you can take, a leaf you can take. The sample piece will be taken inside the slide. Slide is nothing but a small glass piece, and then you would add some staining agent to it. Some coloring agents would be added to it so that the cell is visible. If it is in the black and white color, it would not, we cannot identify the parts of a cell. So that is why to see the various parts inside the cell, we would use the colors and then view through a microscope. Okay, similar way the animal cell also will be viewed in the microscope. In the cell, you will have the cell wall and cell membrane, vacuole, nuclear membrane, nucleus, nucleolus, chloroplast, cytoplasm, lysosome and mitochondria. These names are new to you. Each part has a function to perform, like how we have the organs, brain to think, heart to pump the blood, respiratory tract to respire. So this parts inside the cell also has a specific functions. Okay. So first one is cell wall and cell membrane. The cell wall is the outer thick membrane which differentiates between one cell with the other. It acts like a wall to protect this cell from the nearby one. So as I told you already, the cells will look like how the bricks are constructed in a wall. Like this, each cell will be near to each other. Yes or no? So to protect them, each cell has a protective wall called cell wall. Okay. And the cell membrane protects the various parts inside a cell. Okay, like the nucleus, vacuole, mitochondria, chloroplast, these are protected by the cell membrane. The cell membrane is also called by another name called plasma membrane. What is it? Plasma membrane. Okay, so the first two parts is a cell wall is used to protect a cell from the nearby cell. The cell membrane is also a surrounding layer only to protect the inner parts of the cell. Okay, this cell membrane is porous in nature. Porous means it is easy for going out and coming in. If any of the particle wants to enter into the cell, this provides a way. So this is porous in nature so that movement of substances both inside and outside the cell is possible. Okay, the cell membrane is like a gateway for the movement of substances. Okay. Now this cell membrane protects the inner parts of a cell. So what do you have inside the cell? You have two major parts inside a cell, that is your cytoplasm and nucleus. So cytoplasm and nucleus covers the majority portion of your cell inside the cell membrane. The nucleus is nothing but the main important organ of a cell. If the nucleus is not alive, the cell is dead. Like how we have the battery for a mobile phone. If the battery is dead, the mobile phone doesn't work. Similar way, if the nucleus is not alive, the cell is dead. The cytoplasm occupies the remaining portion around the nucleus. So in this cytoplasm only you will find the other parts like lysosome, mitochondria, chloroplast, vacuole. So now look at it. This is a vacuole, this is chloroplast, this is lysosome, this is mitochondria. Okay. This is endoplasmic reticulum. These parts are present around the nucleus, which are all together called as cytoplasm. Okay children, so inside the cell membrane you have two major portions. One is nucleus and the other one is cytoplasm. In the cytoplasm portion you would find other parts like lysosome, mitochondria, chloroplast, vacuole, endoplasmic reticulum. So each part has a specific function children. I am not teaching the functions now. First you should know about the parts of a cell. Okay. So now we can tell that the cell membrane protects the nucleus and cytoplasm. Yes or no? The cell wall is a protective shield, and whereas the cell membrane protects the nucleus and cytoplasm. So what am I going to do is, I am going to give a common name for the nucleus and the cytoplasm which is present inside the cell membrane as protoplasm. Protoplasm in the sense it comprises of cytoplasm as well as nucleus. That is the whole portion present inside the cell. Okay, so this protoplasm is the living substance of a cell. This is the living portion of a cell which has life, which develops by multiplication. That is that it grows into a tissue and then forms an organ. Okay, now understand that the protoplasm is the one which is responsible for the growth of a cell to a tissue and then to an organ. Clear children? Okay, so in the protoplasm we have cytoplasm and nucleus, and the various parts present in the cytoplasm also we saw. Lysosome, mitochondria, vacuole is nothing but a blank space. This vacuole will be large in case of plant cell, and in case of animal cell it will be small in size. It varies depending on the plant or animal. Okay, then chloroplast. So these chloroplast, mitochondria, lysosomes, endoplasmic reticulum are all present inside a cell to perform specific functions like absorbing of nutrition, to take care of the body or to take care of the water content in the body, to transfer the genes from the father to the child, from the parent to the offspring. Everything is responsible because of the parts present in the cell only. Okay children? Next, so now let us see what is present inside the nucleus. Okay, as I told you, nucleus is the battery which is the living which gives the life to the cell. If the nucleus is not alive, the cell is dead. In the nucleus you will find the first protective shield called nuclear membrane. Okay, so here also we saw cell membrane, here also you are seeing membrane which is nuclear membrane. Cell membrane means protective shield for the cell, to protect the cytoplasm and nucleus. Nuclear membrane is to protect the nucleus alone. To this part alone it acts as a shield. Okay, so the outer cover of the nucleus is your nuclear membrane. Inside the nucleus you would have the nucleolus. Nucleolus is seen inside the nucleus. So now inside the nucleus you would have some thread-like structures. Okay, thread-like structures called chromosomes. So inside the nucleus you would see some thread-like substances called chromosomes, which are responsible for transferring of genes, which is responsible for the inheritance. If your father is having black eyes and a sharp nose, and even you have the black eyes and sharp nose, it is because of the transfer of genes from your father to yourself, right? So that is mainly because the genes are nothing but your chromosomes. This chromosome only will carry the DNA, which is seen in each and every cell of your body. Okay, so all the cells in the body will have the nucleus. In the nucleus you will have the nucleolus and small thread-like structures called chromosome. The chromosome's function is to carry the DNA. Okay, children. So these are the various organelles of the cell. Instead of saying it as a parts of the cell, we usually call by the name as organelle. Organelle means the various parts present inside the cell, like your mitochondria, chloroplast, lysosome, nucleus, vacuole. Okay, children, so this is a plant cell. In the next class, we will discuss about the animal cell and its organelles. So one difference between an animal cell and a plant cell. How to identify whether it is a plant cell or animal cell, ma'am? How do we know that? We can easily identify it by the presence of cell wall. Only plant cells will have the cell wall. In animal cells, that is in the human beings and in the other animals, the cell wall is absent. It is not present. You would find only the cell membrane. You will not find the cell wall in case of an animal cell. Okay, children. So read this topic in your textbook, and if you have any doubt, kindly contact me. There